it'll be for you guys at any time you have different clients. You can always bring questions about that. That's kind of what we're starting off. Any clients you have that have abnormal injuries or situations, how would you work with them? Any questions about anything from training styles, also sales. I took a client through an overhead squat assessment the other day. I think, Tom, you were shadowing. It was Matt's dad.
Yeah.
And he's probably one of the first guys I've worked with, 57 years old. He's on blood pressure medication. Pretty decent shape. It hasn't worked out in a couple of years. And we went through an assessment. You remember what his goals were?
Health?
Overall health, yes. He doesn't like being sore. He doesn't like resistance. And so when you take someone through an assessment, there's some curveballs in there, because most of the time guys are easy. Just put some weight on there, do 4 or 5 stereotypical exercises. If you had a guy who hasn't trained in 5-10 years and he came in and he's a stereotypical meathead, and you were taking him through a workout, what type of exercise would you have him do?
Total body.
Yeah, so full body, so maybe show him some hip thrusts.
Squats.
Squat.
Depending on what he likes. Some people don't want to do certain things. See what his push-ups look like, bench press.
I'd say bench, or for back.
Rows.
Shoulders.
Presses.
So you look at the 7 main muscles. Got chest, back, shoulders, thighs, tries, core, and legs. Obviously, there's a lot of different things we can do to emphasize those muscles, but stereotypically, hitting chest, back, and shoulders and legs is the 4 main muscles we want to hit. So you have a guy who comes in, he's a meathead, or an ex-meathead, and I say that as a compliment, I'm a meathead. But if you want to put some, whatever his goals are, hasn't trained 5-10 years, start out maybe with some step-ups, maybe do a deadlift, maybe do a squat, choose a leg exercise, go and do a bench press, a push-up, standing press if you wanted to. Do a bent over row, work on the hinge pattern, back, and then maybe do a Arnold press into a lateral raise. As a beginner, we want to start out not as many sets, so we got the OPT model. It's a pretty good model. I'm not against it by any means. I think there's I like the transition of it, where as a trainer you can look at it as a potential client, you can see that it's stairs, so you progress. So in phase 1, can you guys remember some of the things that we do?
Vertical loading.
Vertical loading, which is like big circuits. And that's what I was telling my clients, students today, that it's not that NASM is right or wrong, it's just a method. It's like trying to tell someone that Republicans are right or Democrats are right. It's just their mindset. I prefer taking a more hybrid approach and taking things from each one of them and applying it to the overall needs of the client. And so circuits is what NASM has you do, but it's all stabilization. And so what does stabilization mean, according to NASM?
One leg.
One leg, doing a single arm press, doing a single arm row, step up to balance. I got nothing wrong with that, but my background's more NSCA, mine's more strength. So if I'm going to work with a guy or a girl, I'm still going to stick to the foundation. And what are the foundation elements that need to be applied with all bodies as a beginner? What do you guys think? Engaging the core, working on the glutes, heavy, lightweight, what?
Probably lightweight first.
Lightweight. So we want to be doing 12 plus repetitions. So a NASM workout would be ball squat, curl press, single leg push up, standing on one leg military press, bent over row, one arm, single arm curls, single arm tricep extension, leg, and then do that 3 times. 4-2-1 is what they like to do, de-acceleration. I like the de-acceleration, but a program I might take a beginning client through would be squats, followed by bench press, followed by bent over row, followed by a hinge pattern, maybe a squat, a deadlift, and then military press, maybe end off on curls, tricep extensions, and do a reverse fly. Make sure there's no imbalances, and we can fix those. And then do that 1 to 3 sets, but each set add weight. I usually do 3 sets for all people. And so first set I'll do 15, add some weight. Second set do 12, add some weight, do 10. Usually saving 1 in the tank, not going to maximal fatigue. But the thing with the beginner is we really need to coach them and teach them that don't expect amazing results. And the clients you're working with, they know that it's a progression. That's what I like about the OPT model. You can see that we're moving through the phases. And so I want to get into lifting heavy weight as fast as I possibly can, but I have to be a little cautious of doing that. Why?
Joints.
Joints. Ligaments and tendons are not strong. as muscle. And so we need to overload them, just like the principle with Milo. He has his little freaking bowl, it's tiny, he's tiny, he starts walking with it, he gets bigger, the bowl gets bigger, overloading the tissue. I was working with a student today in class, she said she had elbow pain, the waitress, constantly hurting in here. When you do things over and over and over again, that repetition damages the tissue. We need to strengthen it. So how could you strengthen that tissue?
You gotta start with lighter weights,
Boxing.
more reps, you know.
Light weights, you could do a simple 3 to 5 pounds, go down nice and slow. We need to overload that tissue to get it stronger. If we just keep on doing repetition, that tissue is going to get damaged. So we need to strengthen it. We need to make it bigger. Just like Milo, he got strong. The bull got bigger, Milo got stronger. You can do techniques such as I taught her how to get into the flexors and hold really hard and flex and extend to break up that congestion. Flossing would be a more advanced technique, which would be appropriate if you felt like it. But the purpose is, the OPT is to progress into heavier weight. If you have a client and you've been working with them for 2 to 3 weeks, you can start going a little heavier, start getting hypertrophy, do that, 12 reps, 10 reps, 8 reps, 6 reps, start going to 4 sets, communicate with them very well to make sure that they're not crazy sore, and then progress. Start going heavier. Maybe after 3 or 4 sets, we can start doing supersets. What's an example of a superset?
Bench press to push up.
Bench press into push-up. So before we were just doing 3 sets of bench, now we're going to bench press into push-ups. Now we're doing bent over rows into Aussie pull-ups. Then we're doing military press into lateral raise. We're doing squats into lunges. We do a couple of them to see how they feel the next time. And then you progress, and we constantly progress. And I think an important thing as a trainer to remember is that clients are different. How many clients do you have right now?
About 10.
10. Are any similar? 10 different personalities. And you're amazing at how you can talk to people, and it's all about the workout. I know some trainers, they're going to talk, and they're going to get into their personal lives, and it can be A, distracting to the workout, it can be B, distracting to the client, but you need to learn how to read people. That's one of the most important things. You have 10 different personalities, and I'm sure, are you pretty much the same you are, or you kind of change per client?
I try to keep very professional with all of them, but there's a couple that, we talk about some other stuff, but I try to educate them as much as possible about the reasons why we are doing this exercise, what's the goal here.
What do you mean appropriate? You sleeping with
what's the
your clients?
purpose. So I just try to keep, I teach them the reason why we're doing this, what's coming next, and try to show them the progression, so they can look forward.
There you go. Cookie cutter response. I love it. He almost set up what Show Fitness is all about. Teaching your clients how to train. Well, I'm comfortable with clients I've been working with. After a month or so, and I'm sure you guys are as well, I can tell them an exercise, and they'll kind of almost start doing our job. Sometimes you're like, it's okay, I'm going to set it up, don't worry. No, I want to help. I know, I'm ready to go, I want to do my deadlift. It's like, no, that's what, I gotta do something, right? But they start knowing the exercise. It's cute. A couple of my clients, when they set up for the deadlift, they'll proud chest, they'll hinge back, and I hear them talking to themselves. One of my guys goes, chest back, hinge back, grab the purpose, there we go. And so he's going through the steps because he's starting to learn it. And that's great, because the more that our clients learn, what do you think is going to happen in the long term?
The better off they'll be in training on their own.
The better off they're going to be, the better results they're going to get. And so mind you, again, your clients are going to be all different. And the purpose of having these meetings and going over different strategies of clients we're working with, but also different techniques, whether if it's for prehab or post-hab, if you have a client who's injured, continuing our education past certain foundational elements such as the OPT model. And I tell everyone the first day of class, you're not you're not a NASM trainer when you graduate. You're your own trainer. That's why I like NPTI so much, is because after you graduate, you have the foundation. You need to continue your education, continue to learn, keep that passion, helping your clients. And if a client isn't getting results, what do you think you need to do?
Change it up.
Change it up. Analyze what you're doing. There's nothing wrong with saying, maybe I wasn't pushing my client hard enough. I've trained them for 12 sessions. I need to ask someone for help. Let me talk to Chris. Let me talk to Adriana. Let me go talk to this person. Get some different viewpoints. I've been doing this with my client, and they're not getting results. I'm not gonna say your workouts suck, I'm probably gonna start out with going over fit. And what's fit?
Frequency, intensity, time, I don't know the second T.
Type, enjoyment. So we got frequency, intensity, time, type, enjoyment. I don't care about the E. Enjoyment, it is what it is. No, I've never had a client that's ever gonna say, you know, I look amazing, but the workouts aren't that fun. No, your clients, if they get results, they'll always be happy. And really, it's selling of your personality. The enjoyment aspect is why your clients continue to show up. And so that's us. NASA and other people are going to say the enjoyment part is, oh, you got to make the workouts fun. Screw that. That's just my own tough love approach. You don't need to have fun. And that's probably one of the main things wrong with our society is we focus too much on fun. Let's go hit a stick and have a fun workout. Yeah, because you're going to get in really good shape from doing that. Or band workouts. Those are my favorite. You got trainers out there, the whole entire freaking workout is band shit. And that's, I'm sorry, but that's not going to do anything. And the clients that regularly show up, they're sold by the trainer because the client says, oh, it's working, it's working. The overload is pathetic. You're not going to get results from that. So it's almost misleading. I don't understand how people can literally buy into that, but to each their own. But when we look at, helping our clients and growing, one second. What was I talking about before I went on a little tangent? Fit. So frequency, I'm going to ask you, okay, so how many times a week is your client working with you? Twice. I'm not saying, put this in your mind. Could it potentially be that your client isn't exercising enough? A lot of our clients in the reward center of our brain, they start exercising, what do they think it's okay to do?
Gorge on food.
Eat more. I just had a great workout with Marissa, it was amazing. And I went to Taco Tuesday afterwards and had 5 tacos and 15 beers. What did I read the other day? It was actually kind of a good one. Someone did like an hour, 45 minutes of cardio, and they burnt like 220 calories. And their whole post was something about like wine now. And I had 2 glasses of wine, so my workout's pretty much offset. It's like, it's not that much wine. Almost an hour of working out, 2 glasses of wine, and you're even. Because at the end of the day, it really is calories in versus calories out. So our mindset is we have a great workout, now we go have, I can have a cupcake or 9. And then all of a sudden, what happens? You start gaining weight. So we need to be mindful of, it may not be us, but it's good to ask questions. What does the intensity aspect of FIT stand for?
Weight?
Intensity. So the first couple weeks, lightweight, 10, 12 reps. That's what happens when you come in late. How we doing, Jimmy?
Pretty good, man.
I'm just talking about the FIT principle. You remember what that stands for?
No, I don't.
Oh, Jimmy, really? FIT, F-I-T-T-E?
No.
Frequency, intensity, time, type, enjoyment. So when we start working out for 2-3 weeks, we start getting better shape, start doing more reps, more weight, less reps. Time is going to be the workouts. How many of your clients are you guys working with, do they spend additional time outside of the workout doing more stuff?
I got one,
Yeah, who do you have?
Mackenzie.
Okay.
She trains like 6 days a week.
Chris
3
as well,
with me, 3 with me, and 3 other days just doing her own
That's
stuff.
good.
And Chris just runs every single day.
Yeah.
7 days a week he's running.
He's running before, he's running after. He's not obese, he's in good shape. He has a healthy heart.
He's getting big too.
He's putting some size on?
Mhm.
That's good.
Yeah, he was 157 when he started. Now he's 175,
Oh, shit.
Damn.
Wow.
and he's getting size on his chest, arms, legs. Like
That's great.
everything is growing. And his posture used to be like this. Now he's more like here, almost here.
Yeah.
You know, so he's
I
still
remember
working
that
on
first
it.
day when he was in there, he was kind of like, but now he's like super excited and happy. And granted, he's on steroids, but I mean, not steroids. No. That's great. That's almost
Like, there we go.
that's 20 pounds in 3.5 months.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's really good. That's progression. So the time aspect, and then the type of workouts. Think of it as maybe you're doing a lot of barbell work. Switch it up to dumbbell. Always keep in mind planes of motion. Muscles work in how many planes? 3. We go forward and back. Sagittal, we go right and left. Frontal, we twist, which is transverse. If we always train our muscles in the sagittal plane, we're going to develop a compensation for that. And I'm a perfect example. I'm a meathead, I do a lot of sagittal work. Today I killed my legs unilaterally and was doing some side band walks. It was 15 of those reps. One of my students saw me walking home to shower before class. He's like, was everything all right? It looked like you were like depressed or something, because I was walking like this. I'm like, fuck, this just hurts. I didn't do much. I did 3 sets of 15, some side band walks, and I did some lunges and stuff. Change up the type. Guys stereotypically do a lot of bilateral work. Squats, deadlifts, hip thrust, leg press, extensions, curls. We don't do unilateral. So we're bilateral, we're not doing unilateral. We're not doing lunges, we're not doing Bulgarians, we're not doing step-ups. So making sure to implement unilateral work, which kind of brings me to this little exercise for those that are watching and need some progressions and regressions. I find a lot of times when we're working with the beginning client, we go right to the more advanced exercises. So if we were to start out on probably one of the basic leg exercises there is, some people would say it would be like body weight squats. I would disagree, because what are we doing? What are most people doing on a daily basis? Those step ups, 6 inches is right here. You guys walk down here, you have to walk up. There's some type of stairs that you're going to be climbing and sitting down. Obviously we do sit down bilaterally, but this is a lot more common, step ups. And then you get to squats, and then lunges, and then Bulgarians, and then jumps. The unfortunate thing today is a lot of trainers they start out in jumps. We're gonna do insanity, yay. Get one of those celebrity guys up there jumping around like a bunch of jackasses, and then they hurt people. Jumps are hard, don't get me wrong, but the funny thing is they're not implemented appropriately. So if you were to look at this like high school Spanish, high school 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What do you think's gonna happen to that little gringo like me when I'm a freshman and I come in and I sit on a Spanish 5 class?
You're gonna get owned.
Huh?
You're gonna get owned.
I'm just gonna be sitting there like, what the hell's going on? I don't know a single thing. Granted, immersion is one of the best ways to learn another language, but when it comes to learning how to move, you can't start out on the most complex things. Explosion, maximal force production should be way down the line, 2, 3 months in some cases, and your clients are overweight to obese, 4, 5, 6 months. Bulgarians, unilateral force production, lunges, squats, start with step-ups. If you were to start with a step-up, let's go over some variations. One of my challenges that I believe that a lot of trainers get bored with the workouts because it's not fun to them. It's like, honestly, in here, it's all right, who does step-ups regularly? 2 people.
For myself?
For you.
Client?
For you. Yeah.
I,
We got one person.
I just learned through, like when I first started training, like the athletes, high school, I was thinking they're ready. Some of the guys, I'm like, he looks like he can do a lunge. He can even do a lunge. The right
An
way.
athlete.
Yeah, and even a jump, jump squats. He wasn't even, he wasn't getting full momentum all the way up. So I was like, we're gonna have to start using step ups. And he was kind of like, okay.
Do you personally do step-ups?
Started to, yeah.
Okay, good. I don't do them. I have that meathead mindset. I'm still trying to get out of it. I think step-ups, I look at those, I'm like, people around? I'm gonna okay, I'll do a couple real quickly, but I just don't do them because I like lifting stuff. But let's look at a step-up and see how we could appropriately progress and regress it. So we have a client, first day, don't go to squats, don't go to a lunge. You can progress there, but how hard is this? Put up the bench. Here's your step. Again, it's not going to be this high. It would be half this height. Have your client step up. And if they step up in a good statue like that, and they're not bending or crinkling or valgus or anything, okay, how'd that feel? All right, let's have you come down a little slower to see how it is. That's pretty good. All right, let's turn this around and see how you look at squats. All right, I want you to put your hands out in front of you, proud chest, squeeze your core, and wow, that's pretty good. You're doing all right. I think you're ready for lunges. Let's see how you are. Here's a stick. Hold this in front of you. Brace yourself onto it. One leg out, one here. Now I want you to see what it looks like for a lunge. Damn, that's great. You are ready to go for lunges. Let's grab some weight and let's do some lunges. 2 quick regressions to see if it's appropriate. So a lot of people are going to say, let's go right to lunges. That took maybe a minute.
Yeah.
Within step-ups, what would be some variations you could have?
Side.
Side. Obviously, we just do a step-up, sagittal plane. That's one type. You can go to the side. So now we're in frontal. What else?
I did with
Cross.
weights, cables.
Weights.
It depends on the machine. We had cables yesterday, so just make sure he had proud chest, the way up, because when you have weight, you tend to go
Yeah.
forward a little bit. So I just made sure every time he was doing it.
This would be, that's a good one, I like that one. Cables would be down here. Side step ups up here. So let's bridge the gap. So meaning what Jimmy just said is basically you have some cables behind you, you have a force pulling you back. Step up, and the weight's pulling you back. So the weight's coming from here. That's a more advanced step up, which is a great exercise. You can even do unilateral, do a leg, and that's badass. That's tough to do. Definitely more advanced. That would be a progression. Cables here would probably be the hardest ones you could do. Cables unilateral.
Yeah, it took about, I would say I started doing it with them for 2 months.
Yeah. Again, so 2.5 months you're training someone, you're still maybe implementing these other things, but you're sticking primarily within the brain owning the movement. So what would be some fill-ins here?
I do one-handed dumbbell holds.
There you go, so suitcase ones. Suitcase step up, so you recline with one hand. So regression, obviously start out with 2, and then go to 1. What else?
What about when you have the leg already up, like one leg, and then you just do it there, single leg, you know?
So you step up and you bring your leg up?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's
you do that.
Work on balance, that's a good one. So like in some type of balance step up here. What else?
Curl pressing.
There you go, so curl, step up, curl, press. Now we're getting more muscles engaged, good. We start doing some, weighted ones over here. What else?
I like to do the one that you stretch. So if you have this step up right here, people say that I burn their quads like crazy. So instead of just step them up, I have them come all the way here and then like step up.
Okay.
Hit me this way,
So-
so they
so
you get a good like stretching right here.
Come down,
So
and
it
then
hits the
here.
glutes like a little bit more.
Yeah, because that hinge down, all glute activation, that's good. So be creative with your step ups. So you can step up, step down, step back, step back. More advanced, obviously. Proprioceptively, we're good going forward, but when we go back, a lot more challenging. Step up, step back into a lunge. That will work as well. Anytime we track things, what are we releasing?
BD and F.
BD and F. Say it faster if you get
Yeah.
brain-derived neurotropic factor, BDNF. So what that means is I step up, bounce my client a tennis ball, they catch it, throw it back, step back down. Or medicine ball. We have that nice 6-pound one, step up, here, step back down. Step up, here, step back down. There's so many creative things you could do within the step up. If you had a client who you've been working with a little bit, have them step up, have them close their eyes. Step back a little bit, tell them to open them and then throw them something. So it'd be like eyes closed, you throw something open, and they gotta reactively catch it. You're not doing that the first day, but you're working on the brain, and the brain's really, really important. Most people break their hip when?
When they're old.
When they're older, but when?
Stairs.
Stairs, going downstairs. They cannot de-accelerate. Unilateral, glute med, frontal plane stabilization. Woo!
That's why I fractured my hip.
Granny's dead.
I fractured my hip, so I hit the ball, getting out of the box, running. I just heard it snap.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So those are good progressions within step-ups. Lots of other ones. You can do plyometric ones, more advanced. But why are we going to lunges? We can start with the basic mechanics, go higher in the step height. Something like this is great. What is this working more of? You're not doing this the first time. It's going to be a progression. You could train someone 12 sessions, a month of training, and only do step-ups as their leg exercise. And it would be appropriate to progress, just kind of like this, with like little steps and stabilization, and your client would never, ever get bored. Day 1, step-ups, higher in height, highest in height. Day 2, they come in, step-up curl, increase the weight, increase the weight. Day 3, they come in, step-up lateral raise. Day 4,
Bend over row.
bend over row into a lateral raise. You're getting in better shape. Now we're doing a step up, curl press. Now we're doing a step up, step down, body weight squat, step up, body weight squat, come back down, body weight squat. and then we're progressing within the step, making it harder, but still a very basic movement pattern. We can still own the hinge and the squat, but I feel like we go way to these other advanced exercises because we don't think they're challenging. And they're really challenging for our clients. It's up to the creativity of the trainer to make it challenging. Anytime a trainer has to go to all these fun exercises, I would bet that trainer's insecure. That's just me. Because they don't have the foundation, the knowledge to apply very simple workouts to help someone get their goals. Everyone's always shocked when I tell them how much I charge per hour and what the first session is like. When someone trains me the first time, anywhere from $150 to $200, and I would say, tell me what your workout is. Great, that's our first workout. What do you mean? You charge someone to take them through their own workout? Yeah, first thing I do. Go through your whole entire workout. I'm looking at every single mechanical weakness that you have. You could be doing a bench press here. I'm going through fit in my mind. Okay, how can I make this harder? How can I make this better for them? Let's look at your squats. Okay, we don't have optimal foot position. What are the checkpoints when it comes to foot position for a squat?
Heel, big toe, little toe.
Heel, big toe, little toe. Make a field goal. Knee goes through your toes. If it comes in a little bit, is it the end of the world? No. If it goes out a little bit, is it the end of the world? No. Everyone bitches and gets in fights all the time. Oh, it has to be this way. Lift as much as you can, and that's fine, as long as something isn't coming off the ground. When you have crazy valgus, I don't want that. If you have 400 pounds and you come up and you go like that, I always love the trainers who say, oh, you have valgus. I just squatted 500 pounds. Let's see what you can lift. You're bitching about a little bit of valgus when I just lifted that much weight.
I give him shit about his
For me?
Yeah, when you're jumping.
Oh, I mean that was, I did, that wasn't a little, that was more like, when I did that, I definitely came in there.
Okay.
And I had a student, Zach, he had a very pronounced valgus. Where, yeah, he was lifting 400 plus pounds, but he would come down and it would be like, boom.
No, he was a nasty one.
And that's like, okay, there's a happy medium. Even guys at the top, they're having a little bit, but it's not that crazy. So you have to make your own decision as a good trainer and say, are they potentially hurting themselves? Can they lift it safely? Let's look at squats. How would you start out with squats? Body weight. So it's always fun in our minds. I could bring all of you up here and say, show me body weight squat, and you just own it. But then our clients are like, what the hell is this, a dance? That was not a body weight squat. What the hell are we doing? So what are some techniques that you can help them with to get proper form?
What I see that's the most common is that people that don't really know how to squat properly, they're like afraid of sitting back because they feel they're gonna fall back.
Yep.
You know. So what they do first is they bring their knees forward first, and then they wanna sit. You know. So they're like scared of sitting back. So I just put a bench behind them, and you go as slow as you can, and then you sit, and then you get up, and then when they feel comfortable, then I just move the bench out of the way, and they can start doing it, and with like a weight like in front of them first, so it kind of gives them the sensation of the current balance, so they don't feel like they're gonna fall back.
Which kind of leads me into what we're going to talk about more with squats. Is it a stability problem, or is it a mechanical problem? Is it that their ankles lack dorsiflexion? Is it that their hips are tight? Or is it that their core is weak? And there's tests that we can do to determine. So come up here real quick. This is a good test to do with your clients. So you have your client who's going to squat. We can determine how far, so just squat down as far as you can.
As low as I can?
Mm-hmm. So he has a little bit of that thing back there. What's that called?
Butt wing.
Butt wink. And trainers would talk about that. It's the worst thing in the world. Is it bad the way he just did it? No, because there's no weight. As long as it's under load, it's actually, you can just hang out here, and this is actually good for your hips. This is good for your lower back to decompress. That's okay to do. But what I can do is I can do a simple test to determine what his full range of motion is anatomically with taking stability out. So get on all fours. Why'd you go that way?
Buy me a beer or nothing?
So actually go this way. So you're going to go in your squat position. So there you go. And so what he's going to do is he's just going to sit back, and we're going to see how far he goes until he bends. So right there, he's pretty good. He doesn't really get a butt wink. But when we have him stand up, he gets a butt wink. Texts such as NASM, they're going to tell you what's the problem with the butt wink. What do we need to do? Get into your hip flexors, they're too damn tight. Is it that the hip flexors are too tight? Let's stand up real quick. So face me, and your dream's going to come true today. So put your hands out, hold my hands, there we go. Now squat, just like you were before. Where does butt wink go?
It's like way at the bottom.
Way at the bottom. Why? His hip flexors are tight. Are they?
I don't know.
What did we just do? I gave him artificial stability. So now he's depending on me. So when he does this by himself, he's squatting, he tucks under because he's not engaging his core optimally. Remember, our bodies are like a roly-poly. If something's tight, it's going to affect movement. When you engage those muscles properly, it's going to relax. So when I give him artificial movement, or what he can do here, I do the same exact thing. So when I do this, you can see my butt wink. I get it right there. I give myself a goblet. Come out here a little bit. It goes away. I'm giving myself stability. So that's why front squats and goblets are a great thing to implement to get that artificial, but really to train the motor control and the motor learning aspects. So goblets are great, and I agree with 100%. Having a bench behind your clients, always smart to do. Clients can come in and all of a sudden they're just going to fall backwards. What other type of squats can we do?
Barbell squats.
Barbell squats. Most people, the first week of class, I love chatting with them because it's always the dudes, dude. Like they're looking at you like, oh, this guy knows a lot. And yeah, obviously I know a shit ton, but not sure. But like when you tell someone a squat, there's a lot more than just your legs. What are some other muscles engaged when you do a squat?
Core.
Core is really important. What's another really, really important muscle?
Lats.
Your lats. So I tell people when you grab the bar, try to break it over your back. Look at when it bends down. I'm internally rotating and adducting. I'm turning on my lats. When I turn on my lats, Mr. Skelly right here, posterior sling, lats, thoracolumbar fascia, glutes tight. I'm strong. It's like you're cocking a gun. You're ready to lift it. How many times have you seen people set up into a lift? They grab the bar and just start squatting. There's a lot more to it, and then Tom's great at this right before lift. Squeeze that big deep breath in, protect this, your spine's good. I was one of the many people who thought that squats was bad for your back. And I learned that I was squatting wrong. I wasn't bracing my core enough, and every time I squatted, I was setting up very soft. I would come down the next couple of days, my back would be jacked, compression on my spine, my herniation just screwed. And then talking to the appropriate people, the gurus, you got to get this more. And then the breath. Then everything is supported. The spine is now strong as hell, and I can finally squat again. Decent weight, for me at least. And decent weight, 200, 250, that's very lightweight. I'm a pussy when it comes to squatting. Now I'm working on it, but that's compared to squatting 135 and then being disabled for 2-3 weeks. And so what are some things you need to be mindful of, body-wise, when you squat with people? Injuries.
Knees.
Knees, if you have knee pain, be careful of that. Could be because the glutes are weak. We could maybe help our clients with that. What about shoulders?
Yeah, sometimes they
That bothers me.
Bothers you. You're a pitcher? Come up here real quick. And Jimmy's a great example because if you were to face this way and you set up with the bar here, grab it. So you see that glide he has? Awkward. He has thoracic extension right here and it's not optimal. So what I'd like to do is pretend like you have a safety bar. So grab it. So I got the bar, grab in front, neutral grip.
Over here.
Yeah. So actually be more here. So now you would have, it'd be like a wrap right there. There you go. So now his shoulders are a lot healthier. A lot of baseball players should do a safety squat right here. And so this is going to be a healthier position for Jimmy, baseball player, overhead athlete. We got to get away from thinking everyone needs to be a power lifter. Everyone needs to squat. Everyone needs to deadlift. Everyone needs to
Bench press.
bench press. There you go. If it works for that person, great. But it doesn't have to be for everyone. Jimmy, there's no need for him to do back squats. I wouldn't have him do it. I would stick here, be here, Bulgarians, or sorry, not Bulgarians, goblets, thank you. I would stick to those for him as a baseball player. Someone who, anytime you see a guy at the gym and he holds the plates out here, it's usually a sign that the shoulder's jacked up. He doesn't have the proper range of motion. And how do you know if someone has a proper range of motion? If they have pain, you do this.
Oh, okay.
If someone says my shoulder hurts and you do this, that's jacked up. That's bad. So that's the shoulder test. Should be able to get that. It's the test here. There should be a fist
Oh, okay.
there.
FMS one.
A fist distance. So if my fingers were there and my top fingers are there, that's a pretty healthy shoulder. If it's restrictive, stretch it, foam roll it, work on the thoracic mobility, get some mobility in there to loosen up the shoulders. I don't want that person squatting like this. I'll prefer them to squat like this until we work on the shoulder mobility to get them back there. But it's not like we have to get them to a back squat. Suit the athlete or client to what fits them the most. Again, so the proper form for a squat, big toe, little toe, heel, knees go through your toes, hips sitting down, the squat pattern versus the lunge or hinge pattern, predominantly hip as well as knee, whereas the hinge pattern is predominantly just the hinge. What was I going to say? Any other technicalities with squatting I'm missing?
The breathing, so inhale, brace your core, and exhale on the final position after you squeeze your glutes, because most people, they don't squeeze their glutes, you know, so squeeze and then exhale the air. If you start, you know, like, if you're here inside, so you're here, and then you go, you can lose force and just fall, you know, so breathing is really important.
Breathing is very important. It's going to brace your whole entire core. Little technique, give your clients a stick like this. Smack the stick around, so they have to counter the balance. So use a ball, you can have your hands. Make sure they turn on the anterior core. Last little thing I'll say is neck position. Keep that nice and neutral. Not there. Some people will pack it. If your coach wants you to pack it and that's their style, that's fine. I prefer neutral. One other thing is, you said, what did you say, no?
I was gonna go with the neck.
Neck. Oh, at the top. You can come up, tuck under. Posterior tilt. So here, I'm coming up, breathing out, tuck under. Kiss your face to your belt buckle. Posterior tilt. See, too many times people will come up and they'll go like this. No, you got to come in. Boom! Power. What else am I missing on squats? What are the progressions, regressions?
Zerchers.
Zercher. What's that one?
So you put the bar across your elbow.
What about for a client who is 65 years old and you're maybe a little uncertain with squatting with them? What would be an appropriate regression?
Sitting in a chair.
Sitting in a chair? Kind of what I do with Adriano, holding their hands. What other device could they use? TRX?
TRX, the door, or
Door handles, those are good. Grab onto the door. I have my dad, and I have him do this every day. Just come down, work on the posterior tilt, hold yourself, sit down. I'm bouncing a little bit just to kind of open up my spine. Come up, squeeze. Great exercise, 10, 50. If you have someone who's trying to lose weight, if you do 30 body weight squats a day for a month, that's 9,000 body weight squats. I'd be willing to bet you're going to burn a few calories from that. We have our squat challenges. I'm not talking about that. Just moving more. How many people in here wake up with a stiff body? We're all under 30. 28, I swear. So, you know, I wake up every day and I hate my body. It's like, it hurts, my back, my ankle, my Achilles, freaking. But when I start moving, it's fine.
That's what I do. Like now, when I go to the gym, I do basic stuff like that just before I start. It just helps a lot. It's not still be painful.
Oh yeah, yeah. Any other squat variations that are helpful that you can think of? Again, you progress a client from month 1, all step-ups. I'm not saying this is what you have to do, but just getting you to think creatively. Month 2, a whole different program. We're squatting. Start back on step 1, body weight squats. Own the mechanics. Throw in a goblet. Do suitcase squats. Do double. So double first, then do suitcase. You can do different squats with the kettlebell, holding it up for base of support. So many variations.
Depending on the client, can you go from step ups to lunges before you go to squats?
I wouldn't suggest it. You could though, if it was appropriate. You're gonna make that call. I would want to make sure to have some foundational aspect for body weight, as both feet under the body.
Right.
But you can definitely do it. I'm not saying you can't. That's the thing on the warm up I like to do. I stole from Dean Somerset. You come down here and just hold this and just kind of push your elbows out. And this kind of just sits you in. If you're gonna go like the squat today, this is a great little exercise to turn on. Push out. Push out. Just kind of turns on those muscles that are about to be lifting heavy weight. Those warm-ups are important.
We got a client, Chris, that she has a broken toe, and then she also has something else under this portion of her foot here that hurts a lot, so she's not able to do this. So she can never do like a lunge.
Okay, yeah.
So we do Bulgarians,
Yeah.
I just have her here. Just
The big toe's a freak of nature, and there's some people out there that do a lot of work around just the big toe. I mean, there's a fascial connection from your big toe that runs all the way to the backside, up backside of the body, up into your head. And so it's like, there's a lot of mechanical things that could be the matter with the hip. So, I mean, that's an exercise I would really suggest doing. My favorite is on that toe that's jacked up, make sure.
and her knee is jacked up too.
Can she do this on like a nice?
Yeah.
I would do this one a lot because this is going to teach just the med to stabilize the frontal plane, and there's a connection there with the big toe and the med. So I want to make sure that, I do a lot of people. I do the ball or the ball bridge for 5 minutes. Doing that a lot would be really beneficial. Then you can progress into the more plyometric ones, like Tom and I did the other day. You could do a jump squat if you wanted to, if you have your athletes. But why are we going to a jump squat within the first couple of weeks of squatting? You got to have a foundation. That's why I love NSCA. Their suggestion before you even do a plyometric is 2 times your body weight squat.
Wow.
Her mouth was like. And so Tom's a big boy. He's strong. How much can you squat?
320. I'm not even twice my weight yet.
320.
Mhm.
And he can pull 400. He's a strong kid. I would feel comfortable with him doing it, no problem whatsoever. But it kind of sets the stage like, geez, you got an advanced lifter who's strong, but yet we have people out there doing this shit with their clients regularly. Jumping. Your bodies are not ready for it. So start with the foundation, progress, and then 6-9 months from now, you look back, like we're doing really, really well. We're getting closer to your goals. You may have achieved them already, but I guarantee you we're a lot closer when we started out with those other people you're working with. Because most trainers make it about the fun aspect. We're educated, we know how to help people, we teach them, and they're going to get the results sooner or later. Then you progress into the lunges. What are some variations of the lunges you can do? First off, let me teach a proper lunge. I see a lot of people focus on proud chest, come down, sit down. It's like we're a robot. Slight forward lean. Here I'm still neutral. There, heels on the ground, little toe, big toe, come up. Or if you want to just do it transitional, slightly leaning forward. Sagittal plane. Go to the side, go to frontal, do clockwork ones. Lunge there, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 5 o'clock. Jump lunge.
Is the one that like you're in place, the lunge you're in place, and then you have a dumbbell?
There you
Put it
go.
under your legs.
Yeah.
Arch.
Again, BDNF. Trap here,
Yeah.
throwing something, passing it back and
That's
forth.
hard.
Yeah, it is.
With a dumbbell?
Suitcase ones are great. What other lunges you guys like doing?
I like back lunging because it's like the working leg doesn't have to land and then push.
With weight?
Or without, yeah.
So going back,
Yeah.
load it up here. Those are all good to do.
What about reverse lunge, so they can power,
Yeah. So like almost like a step up and back into a lunge. You can do a power ones. I mean, you can start getting to. I like doing these lunges even with beginners. These are almost like a side variation. We're not jumping. We're stabilizing. Well, so then you can slowly start getting a little bit of hop, working on it, working on the tracking. We don't want that valgus. We want to track over. There. What else? Lunge wise. I like partner lunges. So Jimmy and I are here, and throw them something. Or you have a band. Those are great lunges to really work on. Now these are more advanced, obviously, but hold on. So now you're getting your lunge and you hold out here, core. You can come over here, here. Lots of stuff you can do to engage the core. Make it.
If you do it with no weight, I mean, it still helps, right? I mean,
Oh yeah, definitely.
I started doing that a little more often now, especially for the pitchers, because you're always rotating.
Something you're going to see when you do the overhead squat. Clients may have a little bit of valgus. You don't notice it. You don't feel like it's appropriate to go to a single leg squat. Maybe they're not in good enough shape. There could be a pretty large discrepancy in right and left glute. So when you go to a lunge, you could see something like this. Really bad valgus with one leg. But then you go to a squat and they're fine. What happened? Oh.
Yeah. We cannot really see your legs.
If you want to see my legs, look at that. There you go. Woo-wee. So, if you have bilateral strength and you notice a unilateral deficiency, we need to work unilaterally. And so, how can you help someone who has valgus during a lunge?
External rotation.
External rotation. So, what do you mean?
Take a band.
Get a band.
There you go. That's what I was looking for. So, kind of the same thing. Make them go into valgus. Can you come up here? So Jimmy's going to pull me in the valgus. Pull me. There you go. So the weight is going in. So he's creating valgus. So I need to externally rotate. Glutes, glute med. I think the sartorius is an external rotator. Let me, deep six rotators are going to be your external rotators. Sartorius is one of the glute max as well. So you will have external rotation there, and that's making your whole, it's a lot harder when someone pulls you in and you come down nice and slow. This is going to be a lot more advanced. Maybe give your client a stick first. You can have them pulsate. Just kind of go up and down, really firing that glute med. So be mindful of that. And then you can progress into your Bulgarians.
Can you do that with a squat as well, like a bodyweight squat?
Mm-hmm.
So just pull.
Definitely. I'll always get up into my clients when I'm teaching them how to squat. And if you get that valgus, push them into it more. So push one knee, like I was spotting one of my clients the other day, she was squatting, and when she started getting a little heavier, she'd get more valgus. I wouldn't do it during the lift because it was a decent amount of weight, but I would tap her, push out against me. So she really focuses on that second, third, fourth rep are a lot better. And if she starts coming in again, tap it, get it out there.
Or use the band.
You can put bands on there.
Slingshot.
Yep, slingshot. Don't do that on maximal lifts, 6+, which is good to do. Really good for that. You could do band walks that will help. Clams are going to strengthen. But when you have frontal plane instability from valgus, we need to pull it out more and doing those exercises. Speaking of the Bulgarian, great exercise. Really works the glute med. Be careful of the trailing leg, because if you can't see, if your big toe is flexed, like you were talking about, that can induce overuse, which will be like, they call it turf toe. Client's not a freaking football player, but when you constantly have that flexed state, that big toe can get really inflamed. So either A, try to keep your toe straight down, or put it into like a TRX. I like that one. TRX one's really good. And it is common for your clients to get a pretty good strain, because what's happening on that trailing leg is you're concentrically working with flexors. We don't do that very much. When I come up from the squat position, that's concentric extension, my glutes. When you're in a Bulgarian, trailing leg concentrically is flexing. Remember, this is flexion coming forward. We don't flex under load a lot. So it's pretty common for people to get like a little strain in there, because the flexors are really weak. So you might want to do a couple exercises to strengthen the flexors before you start doing those. What would be a good exercise?
What was the question? I was spacing out.
Am I boring you already? Strengthen the flexors before you get into lunges and Bulgarians.
Tie a band around that leg, and then you lift up.
So in a supine position on the ground, I'm laying down right now. If I lay down, can you see me? That's fine, don't worry about it, that's fine. So if I was laying down, I'd have a band on my ankle, and I'd come up here. Go down nice and slow. Here, nice and slow.
Use a kettlebell.
Yeah,
I like snowshoes, you can kind of do it with these, it's harder with, you have your, and come up. Really good for the flexors. Specifically, what's the main flexor? Oops. Yeah, your psoas. And that sucker controls a lot of hip movement. So tissues can be shortened, but not overloaded and strong. So work on the flexors before you get into those. Then after month 3 or 4, we can jump. I'd be surprised in this concentrated area of shit, no, just joking, of Santa Monica. Most trainers will implement some type of jumping pattern with most of their clients in the first couple weeks of training. I'm just throwing that out there. But how strong do you think the system is? What are the words I have up here? At HMS. What is that?
Human movement system.
Human movement system. The brain talking to the muscle, moving the bones. There needs to be synchronization. Muscles need to learn how to talk to one another. If they can't talk well with the brain, your likelihood of breaking down is going to be extremely high. Now you're telling type 2B muscle fibers, the powerful, explosive ones, to do things maximally. The likelihood of injury is going to be a lot higher. So I just wanted to go over that real quickly, just a little progression, regression for some of the trainers that are listening. And if you're beginning with clients, start out with the basics. The basics are going to be elementary step-ups, body weight squats, then getting into lunges. Overload the tissue. Start out light, 12 to 20, and be mindful of your clients' progressions. Communicate with them. And if you ever tell a client you're going to follow up with them, what do? Follow up with them. Hey, today what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you this. Put it in your phone. You can watch this. Remind me to send my mom a letter at 2 o'clock.
Okay, I'll remind you.
Wow, that was hard. Siri's going to talk to me at 2 o'clock, and she's going to tell me to send my mom a letter. So do that with your clients. I told Jake I'm going to send him this. Send him it. And if you can't, hey Jake, super tied up at work today. I apologize. What I'll do is I'm going to put some time in tomorrow into my schedule to work for that and send it to you. But you got to be mindful when your clients are very needy. And it's the circumstance of our situation. Well, as trainers, that's our profession. When you tell them you're going to do something and you don't do it, you're dropping the ball. And they're going to be upset and it starts eating at them. They start getting pissed off. So whenever you tell your client you're going to do something, do it. Maybe you misspoke and you told the client you're going to do something that's out of your capacity. And you're like, oh gosh, whoops, I just told my client I'm going to give him a meal plan. You can't give clients meal plans. But what you can do is send them a link to Authority Nutrition or send them a link to Precision Nutrition and say, here's a really good site for nutrition. They got a lot of helpful pointers on there and guidance. ToneUp.us, that's us. Go to ToneUp, you can get a macronutrient breakdown, carbs, fats, and proteins. You can go through the whole entire breakdown. How many grams of protein you need, your workout day, non-workout day, BMR workout day, non-workout day. Send that to your client and it's personalized. They like that stuff. I'm still surprised at how many trainers do not, especially my freaking trainers, don't use ToneUp. It's an amazing tool. It sends them a whole PDF and it breaks down calories, carbs, fats, all that. Your clients like that stuff. Nutrition is the hardest thing. I just had a student today talking to me about nutrition. Hey, can you write me a meal plan? Like, no. That's a lot of work to write you a meal plan of your whole entire, that's a lot of stuff. I'm like, just eat more protein for now. And I saw she in her mind, she was kind of like, I don't like that answer. Because it's too vague, but it's really, there's so many other things I want to work on with my clients. Giving them a breakdown of food, I don't think that's my own personal thing. I'm a bigger believer in owning the resistance training with me. I'm confident if you train with me 4 or 5 times a week, you could keep your diet pretty damn similar to what you're doing, and you're going to get in significant better shape. If you want to start restricting, that's fine, but you make your body a better machine, you actually can start eating more. Add more muscle. So again, if you tell your client you're going to follow up with them, follow up. If you tell them something outside of your realm, there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, I apologize if I said I'm going to give you a food plan. I actually cannot do that. But what I can do is I can go through this chart. ToneUp is great. I really, really suggest using ToneUp today. Going over one thing I wanted to do, which is kind of fun. Looking at challenging some of the principles that NASM has. So when you look at corrective exercise, there's NASM, there's different physical therapy techniques, Magnificent Seven. He's a therapist out of, I think, Los Angeles. No, sorry, chiropractor in Los Angeles, Lieberson. And then you have Greg Cook, the FMS, there's 7 tests you can do. The assessments are given to you so you can implement them appropriately on your clients. If I have a client who comes in, they have shoulder pain, do a shoulder test. Shoulder flexion. If you see this, what's the matter?
Tight lats.
The lats are probably tight, restricting thoracic mobility. Get into the lats, foam roll it. Get into the lats here, get into the middle part of the spine, strengthen the middle part of the back. Lats are probably the problem. We also need to strengthen. I don't like just doing one thing. I like to think of us trainers as someone comes to us with a cold. We're going to give them this remedy of a bunch of shit. And they're going to take it all and they're going to feel better. Where I'm not going to say it was this pill that made you better. That's what doctors do. That's what therapists do. That's what they're really good at. We're good at identifying, you're jacked up. Let's do a bunch of fun stuff. Let's strengthen these muscles appropriately. Let's inhibit these ones. Let's make sure we can have the brain communicate with the muscles appropriately. Some associations will tell you that this is the why. This is why. You have someone who has a forward lean, get your hip flexor, that's the end of the equation. Maybe it's that your glutes are weak. They're going to say that yes, that's the equation as well, but we're starting to look at studies today and they're starting to see that maybe foam rolling before workouts might not be the best answer. Which is kind of ironic because 3 years ago when I was teaching, I would say, oh, foam roll. That's what we were told to do. So we're thinking more. It makes sense. What happens when you foam roll a muscle?
Loosens it up.
It loosens it up. Do you feel like you're super excited to go work out? You're kind of relaxed. You're like, oh. It's telling the body autonomically to calm down. Parasympathetic nervous system is kind of just, let's just calm the body down. If you have super tight stuff, get in there, loosen it up. Why not foam roll on your client's own time? Well, one of the first couple sessions your client comes in, teach them how to foam roll appropriately, give them a foam roller. Invest back into your clients. If they're going to give you $1,000, giving them a $20 foam roller would be well worth their time. And now you're challenging them to be successful on their own. Foam roll by yourself. I did a booty camp this morning. It's always funny because girls, we still have our mindset. And at the end of the workout, it was 7:29. All right, we're going to stretch. So like a minute for stretching? I'm like, yeah. There we go. 30 seconds. Good. There we go. Feeling good? Get on out of here. They're like, I need to stretch more. I'm like, why do you need to stretch so long? Who told us you have to stretch? If you have impairments, stretch. If you're jacked up, hang out here more. Work on getting the lats. Hold out for 5 minutes if you have an impairment. If you have this, work on stretching the flexors if you want to. Put your leg up. Don't anterior tilt. Just sit forward. Watch TV for 5 minutes. Do it on both sides. Challenge your clients to this stuff. The more they do out there, that gives me more time to work with them lifting weights inside the gym. So one of the things that we're going to look at real quickly is the difference between an overactive muscle potentially or is it anterior, posterior, or lateral core weakness. And so I want you to look, can you see this all right? I think I can just film this. So we're going to look at hip internal and external rotation. So the hip can go out, it can go in like this. This is essentially valgus. That's called internal rotation. We should have about 45 degrees. This is called external rotation. Should be about 45 degrees. I'm slightly limited on both. That's not bad. That's about 30, 35 degrees. 45 would be a little more. Which one was more restrictive for me? It's really up on the Adriano, but this one?
I think it's the other one, isn't it? I can't see it.
This one.
External rotation for me. I'm more restricted there. Here. Internal rotation, not that bad. External,
It's not moving.
not as much. So again, it should almost mimic my internal. So when we're restricted, like we said here, when I try to do this, what is this action called in my humerus? Flexion. If I'm restricted with flexion, what is restricting me? My lats, my extensors. So if you can't do the range of motion, it's the opposite action on the joint that's restricting you. Can't do this very well, my extensors are tight. Get into the tight muscles. That's a hypothetical thing. So according to this, my external rotators are tight. Sorry, my external range of motion is limited, therefore my internal rotators are tight. So what are we supposed to do according to text? Stretch it. Let me show you a quick little demonstration of core activation techniques. This is one of my favorite ones. Hold out here. What part of the chain am I turning on right now? Lateral. Show off in the gym, throw it around. You look super cool. That guy's a badass over there. Try it, guarantee it. Girls start looking, they do, it's just, oh, just joking. Hold. Okay. Real quickly, can someone hold these bands for me? Just keep on walking back. Okay, good. So what part of the core am I turning on now? Anterior. Go one arm, this, turn it on. Make sure to breathe.
30 more seconds, Chris. Come on, hold on.
We'll do the same thing with the posterior. So come right here. Also rotational forces.
Is it beneficial to add some movement?
You could, yeah, just don't go too far up. I think you could do a simple sitting down TVA activation. What's a TVA activation? Drawing in. I like doing it with a pull-up bar, hold, and then push out all the air, suck in as much as you can. Flatten your rectus abdominis onto your spine.
You mean hanging like on the bar?
Yep. And then squeeze your ass as hard as you can too. Also really good for those that have back pain, decompresses the spine. I try to do that a couple times every day. So I'm holding here, I'll come up, work on movement of the scapula, come down, suck in. You really activate that. And what's the stereotypical anterior core exercise we like to do? Huh?
Crunches.
Crunches, yeah, but that's not a good activator.
Plank.
Plank. So if you want to do a plank, that's fine. Do it violently. Set up, straight. If you want to get your core a little more engaged, you can bring a foot out. Squeeze your ass as hard as you can. Turn on. I'm already sweating from those couple exercises. Let's see what happens to my flexors. Can you see it right here?
Mm-hmm.
What happens to internal rotation?
A little more. A little bit more.
A little bit more from what I had. A lot more on this one. A little more on this one. So the fact that I don't get a lot more could be I didn't do enough, or I actually do have restriction there. So a lot more internally. This one's a decent amount of more. This one's more significant than the other one. Did I stretch? What did I do? Just turned on my core. So, and I didn't do much glute work as well. I could have done like a ball bridge or something. So when a client or a trainer challenges you and says, oh, they're tight, stretch them. Why not work them out? Do a step up with a twist. Doing appropriate exercises within the workout to turn on the body. Get the glutes engaged, get the core engaged, get the lateral core. I like doing just presses with people. Press them to the side. So stand here. It's fun because it's kind of engaging. Press them to the right, so they have to counter that. It's a good lateral activator. So push your client. Push them forward. They have to engage. Push them from behind. They have to engage. Push them from this side. Now the whole core is activated. We're ready to go. That's about an hour right there.